So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Central people, and happy Monday to you all. I'm coming to you live here in my house, in my little office, and I'm drinking my second cup of coffee. So I want to welcome you all to the second cup. This is Coffee and Quarantine with Pastor and friends. Where really there's no agenda to this. We're going to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes together interviewing people, just talking about life in general, and just kind of seeing the hope in the midst of our uncertainty. So I just want to welcome all of you. I hope you grabbed your cup of coffee. Let's see here. Nancy Aber, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Bill O'Connell, please drive safe. Yes, don't, I mean, for as much as we want to ask God to take the wheel, don't. Just continue to drive safe, both hands on the 9 and noon. So good morning, Jeannie Canfield. Tiffany Howard is here. You'll know more why. Ashley Smith, good morning. Hope you and Porter are doing well. Brittany Schultz, good morning to you. Sarah LeMay is the director of our student ministry. She's also the director of our First Impressions. She's just kind of the jack of all trades. So good morning, Sarah. Tell the boys I say hi. Kari, good morning. Good morning. Betty, good to see you. Jeannie Anderson, good to see you. Clay Howard, happy Monday morning, Clay. Clay is the our tech director and communications director. Pamela Moran, good morning to you. It's so good to see you as well. Pam, Pam, for all you, all the people out there watching, you know Pam as kind of our church business lady. And then Jamie Jackson, so good to see you as well. So welcome again. Happy Monday to all of you. I hope you're doing well. The sun's out. I know we're supposed to get some storms, but I hope you grabbed your cup of coffee with me as well. So one of the things I just want to do is just check in with all of you to see how you're doing. So feel free to comment, talk, ask questions, dialogue with me. But I'm kind of curious to know what you all have been up to these last, what's it been? Gosh, I've lost track, like 4 weeks. 5 weeks. It feels like it's been a year, but something your pastor's been up to. We've done something really fun where we took the GoPro and the kids have been making videos for their own YouTube channel to see if they won't go viral. So that's been kind of fun. They've been putting the GoPro on their helmets and heading out on their dirt bike four-wheelers. Homeschooling, man, I don't know how many more times I can argue with a kindergartner about math and how to do math right. So it's been kind of crazy. But and then this last weekend, I got a much needed break. I was able to get out of Eau Claire and just head north a little bit to our cabin where we actually were really quarantined in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, and we had a great weekend. So first thing I want to talk about today with all of you here, and again, just comment, let me know how things are going, like and all that good stuff, share it. But today what I want to do is I want to talk about Easter at Central, because I really believe with everything that happened and how everything played out leading up to Holy Week and then also to Easter, I really believe that God moved in some incredible ways. I mean, it was just amazing to see what was happening online with our online experiences from the day we knew that we had to go online. And so and the thing that I'm learning, is online church doesn't stop even though it's over. Let me explain that. Even though we're done worshiping and everything's over, online church keeps going because people keep coming back to Central and coming back to our YouTube, and they're watching it over and over and over. Easter alone, I want to share with you, Easter alone, the numbers we saw from the viewers and the likes and the shares, but the actual views, over 4,000 people joined Central Lutheran on Easter Sunday. 4,000, and when we dig into the numbers, that's just devices. I mean, that's just crazy to think about. Just those devices that joined with us, and the best part was the people texting and commenting and telling us where they were watching from, And what was really cool is how many people just weren't even in and around Chippewa Falls. They were watching from all over the Wisconsin, all over the United States as well. But today, for our first real coffee and quarantine, I want to jump into a conversation with someone that I personally get to work with, and who actually has become a really good friend of mine. And I'll say this, and I'll say it now because she probably won't like me saying it when she's on, but she really is a woman behind the curtains at Central on Sunday mornings. She's brilliant. She is a genius, genius level knowledge when it comes to music and sound and audio, and she brings so much to our team here at Central. And when we hired her almost 2 years ago now, I felt so much pressure because I knew that I knew where we needed to go as a church. And the pressure came from finding that person that we were going to tap to do that, to who is going to move us in that direction and get us into the place where I believe we needed to go. And man, we have been a great team at Central, and I realized that the strong team we already had got stronger the minute she came on board. And the woman that I'm going to have on today for Coffee and Quarantine is a brilliant, brilliant ideas woman. The gift she has, I needed as a leader, and she has become a dear friend as well. So let me patch her in. Let me get her here. There we go. Tiffany.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you.
Hey, not a problem.
I don't think anyone's ever called me a genius before, but I can rub that in my husband's face later, so that'll be fun.
Okay, well that's good. No, I do. I just sit back. And we got to give kudos also to Clay, because really,
he is the best.
Really Clay's
is.
the best when you talk about sound and audio and the tech booth and stuff. But and you two are a team. When it comes to that.
When you say good ideas, he's the one who has all the crazy big ideas, and
yeah,
you just be like, all right, how do we do this? And
in fact, he was the one that made this happen today.
Yep. Yeah.
So patching you in. Yep.
We would not have figured this out tech wise.
But I'll be honest, when I watch you work behind the scenes, getting ready for a modern worship on Wednesday or modern worship on Sunday, but then also just the small stuff you do behind the scenes for the traditional worship at 8:30. It's phenomenal to watch you work. It's phenomenal to watch you and you and Clay work as well. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about Easter. I want to talk about our process for Easter. Easter was it was amazing what you did and the whole team did to help us all worship online, and again, including traditional service. But I want to talk about the why behind some of that, right? But first, what I really want to do is I want to talk about Easter. Let's talk through for everybody who's watching right now, just kind of that the process from February to get to where we were worshiping online, because the reality is this was the very first digital Easter ever in the history of the church,
Yeah.
right? Where no one could meet face to face. So we started in February. Why don't you take the process and just kind of run with it as to how things went along?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we started planning like right out of Christmas, honestly, which is crazy to think about, because I remember the text message between the staff that was like, Christmas is over. All right, we have 14 weeks till Easter. And so it kind of starts like pretty much one after the other. You get done with Easter, and then you start thinking about Christmas, and you get done with Christmas, start thinking about Easter. And so I started back in December just looking at worship music and just thinking, okay, what are songs? Just like I compile like just a huge list of music, just going, all right, what's gonna like reach people on Easter? What's gonna get people excited? What's gonna get people? What's gonna encourage people? And so I started making a playlist back in December, and the worship team can attest to this. I like to get ahead and worship through the music a long time before we start playing it on stage. But then I also just like I overplan, and then we end up changing a bunch of stuff like 2 months out. But yeah, I think February we were talking about, okay, what videos we want to do and what songs we want to do. And Aaron, what are you teaching about? And so I think we were pretty ready to go in February almost.
Yeah, we had it kind of drawn out. We had sticky notes all over the wall. I remember sitting down with Clay to figure out how we're going to do our bumper video, all that good stuff. But then we get to, I think it was about the second week of March, and the coronavirus had really started to affect the United States. You remember that? And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we were waiting and waiting, and remember the news just kept coming, kept coming, kept coming. And the news was changing like every
Mm-hmm.
minute, almost felt like every second. And finally, we heard the news that any large gatherings of 200 or less, or 200 or more, can't happen. So we're like, man, okay, so what do we do? And then once school canceled, and we realized that we have to move everything online. We never. What was the word we never used? Remember that? Never
My
said
dog is coughing in the background. If you hear weird sounds, sorry.
Coda. Good morning. I hope Coda's
Oh,
got
that's
got his coffee too.
very pleasant. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This is awesome. This is what
Should
coffee
kick
and
him out.
quarantine is about. But remember we said never use the word cancel. All we did was
Absolutely,
we
yeah.
said we're going to move everything online. So how did that shift for you? Because that really dictated what you and I are going to do. And Clay, so how did that shift for you? Explain a little bit behind the scenes about that.
Honestly, it took me a while to finally admit to myself that Easter was happening online. I think when we first started not meeting in March, I thought to myself like, oh, this will just be a week or two, and then we'll be ready to come back on Easter. And then when it finally set in that we were like, all right, we have to do this online, it was one of those things where like, all right, I don't really like panic or take a long time to. My dog is really having some.
Sounds
Okay,
good. Thank you so much,
he's just
man.
gonna
I
go.
appreciate it. And then
Um,
I just get it out to
anyways, yeah,
roughly
sorry.
100 yards, right? And I'll be able to see that.
Yeah, it took me a while to come to grips with that, but then once I did, my focus completely shifted. All right, how do we make this really cool online? How do we
Okay.
make this engaging online?
Okay.
How do we not just like show people something, but actually get people involved and get people excited, and get people to actually feel like they have church in their living room.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like where like the
Okay. Cool,
50,000
man.
feet
Hey,
up
thank you so much. Have a
thinking
great weekend.
started. Um,
Yep.
yeah, and
Yeah, and
I think the three of us kind of put our heads together and started coming up with a plan.
Yeah, because and then if you remember, we originally thought, okay, we still might be able to gather for Holy Week because school was only canceled through April 6th, which was Monday
Mhm.
of Holy Week. So we're thinking, okay, there's a glimmer of hope, but by the time we got to spring break, and the week after spring break, we knew it was done. Especially when announcements were made for the stay safe, stay at home kind of stuff. And so then we had to shift gears and we had to go, okay, all of Holy Week is going to be transitioned online.
Mhm.
And that was crazy. And so I want, just kind of talk with the people how we ended up. And for those watching, if you weren't able to see our Easter worship, you can go back online and you can watch it. But Easter, we went out to this random field, a cornfield outside of Jim Falls, where we just kind of hung out. And we got this idea. Actually, it was my idea that I sprung on you and Clay kind of at the last minute. I'm like, hey, what happens if we go out to this field and we do the Good Friday worship with my message and we capture the sunset? But then for Easter, we go out to the same field and we capture the sunrise during my message. And so explain to them how we ended up out on the field, or just kind of give them a mental picture of what it was like for the three of us to be standing out on this random cornfield.
Well, first off, I would like to say that we had a lot of really nice days in March. And for some reason, the days that we chose to film were not nice days. And so it was cold. And so the first one we filmed was Good Friday. And we got there, and we'd been all like the whole week trying to time, okay, when does the sun actually go down? So we can make sure that we get this cool like image of, this is when the sun is set and we have darkness. And so we get out there and it's beautiful and the birds are chirping and it's so nice, and the field is really pretty. And so then we start filming, and as the sun goes down, all of a sudden these frogs start croaking like crazy. And so it ended up being really cool. But while we were filming, I usually do the audio stuff, and so I've got this microphone and I'm wearing headphones so I could hear everything, making sure that there's nothing weird in the audio. And all I can hear is these frogs, and I'm thinking to myself, like, we're gonna have to redo this. But it ended up sounding fine in post and everything, and it was good. But yeah, and so we did that one, and I think we waited like a week or so before we or not was it a week?
Yeah,
A couple days
it was a couple
between.
days. Yep. Yep.
We were just waiting for a morning that we knew was going to not be rainy, and we weren't going to have a ton of wind. We ended up having a little wind. Because the thing is, when you have wind, all your microphones just start sounding like the entire time. So we were just trying to avoid that so that we can get a good non-distracting video message so that people can experience the gospel without a bunch of distractions and things that are going amiss, and people are missing the message because they're focused on all of the goofy stuff that's going on in the background. And so that was a very cold morning.
Yeah.
So
So so that was the message part. I gotta ask because a lot of people are probably wondering, where did you get the idea for music? Now, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday music. You know, you and Clay did a phenomenal job of basically recording yourself in the basement of Building A, just the two of you, which was awesome. But tell us about Easter Sunday. Where did you get this idea of getting the worship team together like you did, all in their own little homes? Yeah, tell us how. Well, first tell us why you wanted to do that, and then how you did that.
Well, honestly, it was one of those things where I was really bummed that I wasn't getting to worship with my friends, all these people that we get to see every Sunday, all the people that lead us in worship from week to week on Wednesdays and Sundays, and hearing their voices and seeing their faces and just hearing them use their gifts brings me a lot of joy, and it's a lot of fun. And I realize that is the same for everybody else. And when they get up there and sing and lead and play, it's encouraging for everybody. And so I was just super bummed that we weren't getting to have those other faces represented in all of our worship and live streams and stuff. And so we posted another video before Easter of us all doing Yes, I Will. And that kind of came about, I don't know, we might have been in quarantine for like a week or so. And I was laying in bed playing on my phone or whatever before I went to sleep. And I don't know where or how I got the idea, but it kind of popped in my head, and I looked at Clay and I was like, so would it be super duper difficult for me to have everybody record their parts and put it all on a video and just kind of have it all, like, everybody kind of pop up in different corners of the screen and stuff? And he was like, I mean, it wouldn't be super difficult. It would take a lot of time. And I was like, and so I was like, okay. And then so I kept playing on my phone, and then I just kind of kept spitballing. I was like, well, what if I had everybody record to a click track and we just did this? So I kept randomly, I like couldn't sleep. All I kept thinking was, how do I pull this off? And so I think the next day I started sending out music to everybody and kind of trying to figure out the instructions. Okay, how do we pull this off? And so yeah, it was like, okay, make sure you turn your phone sideways, make sure you're using headphones so we don't hear the metronome track in your recording, and all these goofy little things. I'm like, I hope we thought through everything so we could use everybody's footage and all that stuff.
I mean, it was phenomenal. Just the views on that first one that you did weeks ago before Christmas, or before Easter. How many hours do you think you worked on that during Easter, leading up to that?
Oh, the first video, I had a lot of help from Clay, and so that one maybe took us, I think, a total of like 10 hours over the course of like a week. I would just kind of pick it up and mix some audio and then put it away and then pick it up again, just kind of as people sent me stuff. The Easter one, however, I had a very small window because, honestly, like I said, we plan all these things out and then we end up just changing everything a week before because of circumstances or, different things that happen. So, originally we were going to bring in a band and have us all stream or record the worship in the sanctuary and have us all in the same place. But then for reasons, we decided, it's probably best that we don't bring everybody together social distancing, all that, good stuff. And so I think it was the Wednesday before Holy Week, I sent an email, or Saturday before Holy Week, to the whole band and said, hey, I want to get as many faces in this as possible. So, here's a song, learn it, and you guys have 3 days to send me a recording. And then I think it was like the Wednesday of Holy Week, I got everybody's videos in, and so then I had from Wednesday to Sunday to cram and get all 4 songs edited.
Yeah.
The big one was obviously the first song, where we had, I think, 16 individual videos to mix together with audio. And then with that, Clay and I are recording extra parts, just to kind of fill the sound for instruments that we don't have represented. And so between the recording, the editing, and just us taking our own videos and stuff, gosh, I think we pulled one all-nighter, and a couple, like 3 whole days of editing.
Yeah.
And mind you, Clay had a ton of other stuff to edit, so the worship kind of fell on my plate, obviously, because it was my big silly idea to put a bunch of more work into Easter.
Yeah, but then
yeah.
behind all that, we threw you a curveball with the traditional worship too, asking you to do something that typically you don't do, and that was, after we recorded it, to get the hymns and the lyrics up as well with our leaders, our worship leaders for the traditional as well. So, but it's been, the word challenging for the last 4 weeks is probably an understatement to you and I, as a staff in a church that really 99% of our work is face to face with people. And so it's been really challenging, but at the same time, would you agree? I just look back at these 4 weeks and I think, you know what? God's given us these little nuggets, or better yet, these little moments where He is reminding us, hey, I still got this. I'm still here with you all at Central, and I'm going before you. And the fact that we have to innovate is giving us these amazing opportunities to bring a message alive in different ways. I mean, you and I think, without having to talk about it, you and I mean, content is so important, but also setting the table with songs, with everything, to a bumper video, to the prayers that we say, and the message that is spoken. It sets the table for people to have this experience, even online experience. And so, and we want to love our city so well, don't we? Chippewa Falls.
Yeah.
And so it's a privilege and it's an honor to serve the partners of Central and to serve the city of Eau Claire. And one of the things, why don't we wrap it up here, because we only have about a minute or so. Tell us, or share with those who are watching right now, what are some of the challenges that you're experiencing, or some of the challenges that you see moving forward as we continue to stay safe and stay at home, and we continue to not be able to meet as a church? What are some of those challenges for you?
I would say just kind of staying engaged, I think, is going to be really difficult for people. And for even me at times, where it'll be really easy after 5 weeks to decide, I'm just going to start sleeping in on Sunday. Oh, I'll catch church later on demand or whatever. But then you end up watching it, or you don't engage, or you don't really continue to take steps in your faith to grow and to learn, because this is going to start getting I feel like our routines are all screwed up, and so with that, you lose that discipline of taking the time to spend time with God and spend time in community with your church. And I realize that it's difficult for some people to have that kind of change, where community looks different right now. And that's going to be a huge hurdle for some people to get over. But I feel like once we kind of clear that hurdle and we kind of figure out, okay, what does community look like for me in this time? I feel like we can experience some really cool stuff, and God's going to reach us in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just, and this isn't a challenge, this is something that excites me, but just to kind of touch on this, but I feel like we've never been in a time like this where everybody has an opportunity to engage in some form of church, hearing the word uh, of of
Mhm.
grace and truth. And so more people are sharing our services than ever. And I'm seeing, I mean, and I have a lot of friends who work in churches, so I see this a lot. But I've seen church services pop up in my news feed left and right, and that is just really neat to see. And it's kind of a cool, God is just inside people's homes right now.
Mhm.
And if we continue to encourage people to join us, and they have no pressure right now, it's just kind of they can pop in and pop out, and maybe watch for 5 minutes one week, and maybe next week they see it again and they're like, oh, maybe I'll stick around and listen to the whole message, and that continues to grow. And somebody pops in the chat room and says, hey, I see you joined us, thanks for joining us, and I think, oh wow, somebody noticed me. And then we continue to take those steps. It's just like if somebody walked into our church. I mean, if somebody pops in and somebody welcomes them, makes them feel like they're part of what's going on, then
Yeah.
they say, well, maybe I want to call this place home.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our
Absolutely.
steps will be, how do we take these people that are engaging in our services and make them, or not make them, but encourage them and help them feel like they're a part of what's happening here at Central and in God's kingdom? And how do we get them to take the step to come and physically be with us when this is all done and through?
Yeah, and the challenging part is we're learning as we go, right?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
so as a staff, we've kind of stopped asking the question, okay, when are we going to be able to get back to the normal? And rather, but the question we're asking now is okay, what are the unique ways, or what are some ways that we can dream and imagine of connecting with people in this whole thing that we're in, quarantine that we're in. So, hey, thank you so much. This was awesome, and
Yeah, thanks for having
I
me, man.
appreciate you jumping on, sharing with us just a little glimpse as to what went into Holy Week and Easter. You take care, and where can people find you if they have questions for you, if they want to reach out to you? You know, where on Facebook? Tiffany Howard on
Yeah,
Facebook.
you can shoot me a message on Facebook. Yeah, I'm just Tiffany Howard. You can find me.
Yep,
My
Tiffany.
profile picture is me wearing a Niners jersey playing guitar. Um, or you can shoot me an email at tiffany@central-lutheran.org. If anybody is a musician, you want to join us, shoot me an email. Or if you just have some cool ideas, hit me up.
Yeah.
Love to hear from you.
Cool. Hey, Tiffany, have a great day. Tell your husband I say hello,
Absolutely.
and we'll talk soon. Okay? I think we have a staff.
Right,
I think we have a staff meeting tomorrow morning. So I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye. All right, that was awesome. So I just want to thank Tiffany. I want to thank all of you that have joined online. This is awesome. Come check us out here again on Facebook on Wednesday, where we'll have Coffee and Quarantine episode number 2. You also can check us out on Instagram. Download our app. But again, we're going to be doing this every Monday, every Wednesday at 8:30. Second cup of coffee, Coffee and Quarantine. We are also doing noon worship prayer. Again, on Tuesday and Thursday at noon. And that's just going to be a simple, quick 15 to 20 minute devotion with Tiffany and myself. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays right here on Facebook and or YouTube. Hey, everybody watching, I love you all. We'll talk to you soon, and have a great week. Peace.